Newport News. Story 1, Part 3. The boy slowly lifted the lid the rest of the way. The hinges groaned like something waking from a long sleep. At first glance, the chest appeared filled mostly with old books wrapped carefully in faded cloth. Some were bound in cracked leather, while others looked far older, their pages yellowed and brittle with age. Strange symbols had been burned into several of the covers, matching the markings carved into the key hidden behind the fireplace. Beside the books sat rows of old glass jars filled with cloudy liquid. Some contained blackened coins, others held things the boy could not identify at all. There was an old, tattered doll with one missing eye, several tarnished rings engraved with unfamiliar symbols, bundles of letters tied together with thin black string, and dozens of faded photographs. The cellar felt quieter now. Too quiet. The kind of silence that made every breath feel loud. The boy picked up one of the photographs carefully. It showed several men standing beside a boat near the Virginia coastline sometime long ago. Another showed strangers gathered around a campfire deep in the woods. Some of the pictures were so old the faces had nearly faded away entirely. Then he found something else. Glass plate photographs of Native Americans standing near marshland beneath enormous cypress trees. At the very back of the chest rested a wooden frame. Inside it was an old map. Dark water stains spread across the edges. A trail marked in black ink stretched from the Virginia coastline deep inland through forests and marshes until it ended beneath a single black X. The boy's eyes widened. This looks like a treasure map. His mother said nothing. Instead, she stared at the map like she already regretted opening the chest. Written across the center were the words, "Open what was hidden, and follow where the shadows remember." Beneath it sat a verse, Matthew 6:21, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." But underneath the verse was something else, an instruction. The handwriting looked rushed, desperate. To uncover what sleeps beneath the earth, the words must never stop. And beneath that, from dust we came, to dust return. Beneath black tide the lost still yearn. By lantern dim and shadow deep, wake not the ones beneath their sleep. The boy read it twice. A chill crawled slowly down his spine. The cellar suddenly smelled faintly of salt water, then rot. His mother finally spoke. "Your grandfather spent years searching for forgotten history around the Tidewater coast. Shipwrecks, colonial settlements, old native trails." She pointed toward a strange symbol burned into the corner of the map. A crooked skull twisted inside the shape of an anchor. That mark belonged to a pirate crew that disappeared along the Virginia coast centuries ago. The weak cellar light flickered overhead. Some believed they buried something valuable before vanishing forever. The boy leaned closer. "You mean real treasure?" His mother gave a small, uneasy smile. "That's what your grandfather believed." Then her expression changed. The cellar suddenly felt colder, quieter. He and several others followed the map many years ago. The overhead bulb dimmed slightly. "But sometimes," she whispered, "you open a door that does not want to close again." The boy swallowed hard. "What happened?" His mother slowly unfolded the map again. "Your grandfather said the instructions had to be followed exactly." Her voice lowered. "The words were never meant to guide people to treasure." The cellar light buzzed softly. "They were meant to keep something else asleep." Then she began the story. As she spoke, the cellar somehow grew colder. Not normal cold. The kind that settled beneath the skin. The faint smell of salt water drifted through the room, even though no windows were open. They followed the map from the coast inland, through the marshes, until they reached the place marked with the black X. Her voice became quieter, and while they dug, they repeated the words exactly as the map instructed. Softly, she whispered,
"From dust we came, to dust return."
The cellar bulb dimmed lower. The deeper they dug, the more it felt like something beneath them was becoming aware of them, watching them. The boy rubbed his arms nervously. The shadows around the cellar walls somehow looked longer now. Then they began hearing things moving through the woods around them. The boy leaned closer. "Not footsteps," she whispered, "dragging." The sound suddenly echoed softly somewhere behind the cellar shelves. Drag. Drag. The boy froze. His mother continued speaking like she hadn't heard it. They were terrified. Every one of them knew they should leave. Her eyes drifted toward the chest, but none of them could stop digging. The cellar suddenly felt smaller, like the darkness itself had moved closer. Then the sun disappeared. The boy frowned, disappeared. His mother nodded slowly. Not setting. Gone. The weak cellar bulb buzzed violently. The shadows stopped matching the men standing beside the pit. The boy stared silently. And when the men stopped moving, her voice nearly failed. The shadows didn't. The cellar became silent. Then, a voice whispered softly from somewhere behind the walls. "Don't touch my master's treasure." The boy nearly jumped. His mother slowly looked toward the darkness behind him. Then came the giggling. A child's giggle. Too close. The cellar light flickered violently. One of the men lifted his lantern toward the trees. She paused and saw a small barefoot child standing beside the hole. The boy's mouth went dry. Its skin was pale gray. Its clothes hung in wet, rotten strips, and its eyes, the bulb overhead flickered harder now, were completely black. No pupils, no whites, only darkness. Crack. The boy jumped violently. His mother's face tightened. The child tilted its head farther than it should. Crack. Then it smiled. The cellar smelled stronger now. Rot, salt water, something dead. The smile stretched wider, too wide. The boy felt frozen. Its jaw split downward with wet cracking sounds. The cellar bulb dimmed almost completely, and the lantern flames bent inward toward the hole, as if the darkness itself was breathing. Then came the breathing beneath them. Slow, massive, ancient. The floorboards beneath the boy creaked softly. "Your grandfather realized then," she whispered, "the treasure was never meant to be found. It was meant to stay buried." Then, clunk, one of the shovels struck wood. The buried chest. Everything became silent. Then the child whispered softly. You woke him. The ground beneath them moved, not shook, moved. The men screamed as the pit collapsed inward, and from beneath the broken earth, something began pulling itself upward. Then suddenly, the child screamed, "Don't touch my master's treasure!" The voice exploded through the forest. Layered, children, men, women, something else beneath them. The darkness erupted upward from the pit. Too many arms. Long black limbs unfolding over each other, like spiders dragging themselves from deep water. The men backed away, screaming. Then the creature's eyes opened, before its face did. Dozens of pale, glowing eyes splitting open within the darkness beneath the earth. Watching, blinking, hungry. The cellar became silent again. The boy stared at his mother. For the first time since telling the story, She looked genuinely afraid. Then, knock. The sound came from inside the chest. The lid shifted slightly on its own. The overhead bulb dimmed lower, and softly, right beside the boy's ear, something whispered, "Don't touch my master's treasure."